Welcome to the One Mindful Minute, your very oasis of daily well-being in the busy world. You may already know you have the power to transform your world, but have you fully tapped into it? In this podcast, I'll share how to unlock the power to enhance your life through the art of living well. With insightful interviews and guided practices, we'll uncover the secrets to inner calm and wellness. It is time to tune in and transform. All right, in this episode, we have Vicki, my dear friend. Hi, Vicki.
Hey,
Vicki and I, we have been in touch for over a year now, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, about a year and some change.
Yeah, since May 22, right?
I think that's May or April. Yeah, so that sounds about right.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you to share a little bit about your personal experience, just so our listeners are kind of on the same page as us, so they can follow easier, right? So were you a meditator before you met me on this journey? I'm not going to say the name of the event just because we don't want to promote that event, or not yet, at least.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a great question. The answer is astoundingly no. I was not a meditator, not even a little bit, before I came across this event with you. And I remember even being invited to, like, when I would do yoga, like people do yoga classes and they like meditate. For some reason, they like go together. And I didn't understand why back then, but I started yoga maybe 10 years ago or so, and I'm not active, just here and there. And people would invite me, and I would always say, no, thank you. I am not into meditation. I definitely do yoga as an exercise. So no, I was not.
So what tempted you to go on the meditation journey?
That is like an easy and complicated answer. So I remember being at this juxtaposition of my life where I wanted change. I was just at this point where I'm like, how did I get here? Who am I? I don't even recognize this person. I was, medium, like chunky, just not feeling good in my own skin and unhealthy, like stressed out, victim mentality, always blaming somebody. And I knew about manifestation, and I knew better. It's like I knew better, but I was just being this person that I wasn't happy with. So I remember making an active decision to just change up my life, as I usually do. I'm not shy about reinventing myself. So I started a new job, truck driving, and while I was just trucking down the road, solo, over-the-road female, semi-truck driver, Class A license, I remember...
That's so cool.
Yeah, I was not that badass like before, but I wanted to do something badass, like reclaim myself. So I remember like listening to a few audiobooks and thinking, oh, the first of the year is coming. I would love to read like 50 to 100 books this year. I'm not a reader, but I can do audiobooks. So I started asking my sister, who is a little bit of a spitfire. I said, hey, Susie, do you have any recommendations on books? And I asked everybody, and everyone would give me like 1 or 2 recommendations. My sister gave me like 50, like 30. I know, it was a lot. And I was like,
perfect for this road trip.
Yeah, I mean, I did need recommendations because I started reading everything in my list. And it was funny because I was like, did you even read any of these books? And she's like, no, but I want to. And I was like, okay. I know.
Oh, you go do the homework. You read the book, come back, report to me which one you like the most.
Exactly. She's like that. She's like, yeah, let me know what you like. So one book caught my eye, and this title was just about, like changing yourself. And I was like, I'm very much into self-help books. I have not had a good example growing up on how to be this healthy human that I want to be. So what would that look like? And I started to read that book, and I had no idea it was all about meditation. And I was kind of pissed. I was like, wait, I'm not even meditating. And this book was like, the fourth in its series. And it was like, it started off as if you were already meditating. And it was giving these great examples of what can happen to people when they meditate. And I'm like, okay, well, this makes me want to meditate. So that's kind of how it started. I started like seeing or reading about these possibilities of what could happen, how someone's life could change just based on meditation. It sounds woo-woo as fuck to me, like I'm like, I'm not, I like crystals, but I'm not going to sit here and meditate. And, it's so funny. I had those judgments, but I wanted change desperately. I was at that place, and I was ready for something. I was ready for something different to explore the part of me that is the God essence, that's connected to all things, that is a part of this quantum realm. It's like, I know these values, I know these like factors, but I wasn't practicing them. So that's what kind of got me onto meditation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. What a change, right? This is just from the one book that you decided to read.
Yeah. And I read it in its entirety, and I was actually like, I knew I didn't have time, working 14-hour days, truck driving, and barely being able to shower, barely being able to feed myself. And my schedule was rigorous. So I remember wanting to try the techniques and wanting to meditate, but about 2 weeks later, I switched my job, switched the companies, and it just so happened that I didn't like the new company I worked for, and I gave myself a week vacation. I'm like, you know what? I don't know which company I'm going to go to next, but I soon realized, as a minority woman driver, everybody wants me. So I was like realizing I'm some hot commodity, and I was like, you know what?
I know that about truck driving.
Yeah. A lot of companies want that type of driver to, show their diversity in their company. And I gave myself a week vacation, feeling fully confident that someone was going to hire me, whenever the time was right. And I said, normally I would worry about it, start applying to many, many, many jobs. I was not a chill person. And I would try really, really hard to make something happen. Instead, I decided a new approach. I'm like, I'm going to take a week vacation, and I'm going to meditate on this vacation. So I took this lovely road trip down Route 1 and from San Francisco to LA. And I took my time, and I took a lot of naps, and I meditated. And that was my first time meditating. It was, I remember the week, it was middle of February, right after Valentine's Day. And I did have quite a profound experience with one of these meditations. It just it felt, I don't think I was doing it right, but I don't think there's a wrong way to meditate. I've learned it just, each time you do it, it just is, and there's no judgment on it. So I did an unguided meditation. This person offers guided meditations, but I did unguided because I didn't want to spend the money for it. And I remember like asking the question, because it was a very scientific approach to meditation, and I wanted to ask my brain, how do I take this time? I've been really enjoying this like 3 days of vacation. How do I take more time and not work, but make a perpetual income right now in my life? And how do I afford myself that time? How do I make this vacation last forever? And I felt like I started meditating, and like maybe about 15 minutes later, I felt like a lightning bolt hit me. And it felt really good. And I was like this thought that I had, it felt not like from me. It felt divine. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know how I'm going to do it. And I just so happened to have all this like Bitcoin, and I never thought I would touch it. And I like thought of a way to put that. So anyway, so this like inspired thought came to me. And then from there, I just kept meditating, and I kept like thinking about my different like chakras and energy centers during meditation. I was trying different ways to do this, all unguided. Even walking meditations, I did unguided. And it felt good, but my attention span was really low. And I could tell I would get distracted, and I would like lose focus after 10, 15, 20 minutes. That was like my limit. And then I bought the guided meditations, and that's when my practice got a lot deeper. I started making a commitment to do 1 hour every day from there. And that's when I saw like real like changes start to happen in my life.
I'm going to ask you for your little secret. So when you had that experience of like lightning that's what's going on, which technique were you using? Did you remember?
So that I just clear, like I never I'm a big planner, or I used to be a big planner, so I never go anywhere without my thoughts. Like they're always with me. They're always like I always know what I'm going to do next. And I'm always like, planning and like strategizing. It felt like. So for me to have that moment where I consciously turned off my thoughts and let myself sit with nothing, first of all, seems counterintuitive to sit with nothing and to change your life and create growth. But in that moment, it just felt, because I was also proactive with it, I was like seeking out an answer. I emptied myself almost. Like I just would think about my breathing or try to not think at all, and just like feel how good the sunlight felt on me, or feel the quietude of my own minivan and like being on this road trip. And I would feel like maybe the down comforter, like, or my down sleeping bag, like next to me. And then that turned into just like breathing and like being really still. I think that lightning bolt came to me because like that, the way I describe it, it happened that way. I don't think it was a physical sensation, but it was more of an inspired thought, because I feel like that was not on my radar at all. And I always have something on my radar. So I think that's where the lightning bolt concept came from, because that thought did not feel like mine.
I think that's probably similar to I want to say Buddhist meditation. They don't ask you to focus on your feelings or your mantras or your chakras or anything, right? Usually it's just like at least the way that I've learned is that you just relax. You just relax. You just keep relaxing. Like if any thoughts come in, you just relax, let it go, right? You just become relaxed as you sit, as you, I want to say progress. I don't know if that's even the right word. Like if you just the longer you sit is the more relaxed they kind of want you to be, right? Because this is the easiest and the foundation of practicing meditation. And then this is how concentration is starting to happen, right? Because then you just focus on relaxing and you don't even know that you're focusing because you're just relaxing, right? So that's kind of similar to what you just share. So yeah. All right. So so that was beautiful that you would get that, I want to say, the sense of knowing, because you said it's not something that comes to you, right? It's just the feeling. So I want to say that's a sense of knowing if it's feeling, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it wasn't like, yeah, it's like I allowed inspiration to happen instead of like finding it from me. So that was really beautiful moment for me.
Yeah. So then tell us a little bit more about what happened after that. That seems very profound and significant.
It was so I had that week vacation and I extended that. So then I was like, all right, the next 1 month, let's see what happens. And actually that week that I decided to not work for an extended amount of time, I kind of like said, I want to be retired for like the next 2 years. My friend reached out to me, whom I have not spoke to in like over 12 years or 10 years. She was like, hey, I have a house that you can house sit, because I'm was truck driving. I don't actually have a home. I was living in my van. And I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. And she's like, do you want to house sit for me for like 2.5 months in the summertime? And I said, yeah. It's February now, but yeah, I would love to. So I just, like, to me, that felt like a reaffirmation or a confirmation that, like, Vicki, if this is the life that you want, like, you're going to have everything provided for. So it encouraged me to keep going. So then, not really knowing what was next, I kind of traveled back and forth to my home area of Chicago and California. I had some close friends there. And I set out on this mission to meditate 1 hour every day. And I sometimes was able to, it took a while to like get to a place where I could not have my thoughts distract me. And I learned that that's a skill, that like, it's just like attention span, or like even with driving, I think that's a really good concrete example. So truck driving, you have to have a lot of training, and mainly the training is, like a lot of people know how to drive, and yes, driving trucks is different, but it's very similar to driving a car. What you need training on is the amount of time that you're driving. So during the training, I had 2 weeks training local and then 1 month training on the road, where I would need to make sure that I could focus for, 4 to 8 hours of driving at a time. And that's a skill that you develop over weeks of trying it. And when I first started driving, I noticed I would get tired that first week, but then by the fourth week, I wasn't as tired. But of like driving, like I could really focus, and like as long as I got enough sleep and was staying safe, my attention span for driving became longer. I think it's the same way with meditating. It's like when you really put your mind to it and you start to practice that, at least that's what happened for me. I was able to focus longer and longer and longer. And you would catch yourself in a thought, or sometimes I would go on like long daydreams. And I'm like, what happened to the last like 10 minutes? I was totally thinking of like replaying something that happened in my brain or something that happened in my life. And it's just about catching those moments and like not judging yourself and just saying like, oh, okay, I'm here now, go back to my breath. So because of that, I think because of that skill developing, then I realized, okay, my body is going into these different brain patterns, like where I'm reaching, like I'm always in beta, I'm always like in survival. I'm always doing something. I'm always worried about something. But then I can get into these like alpha waves. And then like I can feel myself kind of nod off sometimes, where you get really relaxed, but you're like in that sweet spot of like relaxed and sleep, but not asleep. You don't want to be asleep, but like super deep relaxed.
Yeah, because otherwise it become a nap.
Yeah.
It's no longer meditation, right?
No, yeah, you don't want to nap, but then yeah, you're right. Then it's just a really nice nap. But you get into these like longer periods of like relaxedness. And I think that's when I learned that you can rewire your brain. So towards the end of the meditations, for me, it was super helpful because I had so much unforgiveness in my life. I think that was one of the main things I really wanted to get over with. Not get over with, that's put the wrong way, but to like, for me to change, for me to become a different person, for me to see different results in my life, I really needed to forgive a bunch of people because I kept telling that same victim story. And it was so helpful to approach meditation from a scientific perspective and to realize, well, if thoughts are just like patterns in your brain, which your thoughts create your behavior, and then a set of behaviors creates like an attitude or a mood, which creates your personality. You can change your entire life, your personality, like the way you experience your reality with just a couple of thoughts, but you have to like do them over and over again. And the best way to do that is when you've achieved like slower brainwaves of like alpha and theta. So I used that to my advantage, and I decided to want to actively choose to be a person who is a creator of my life, who is an empowered person and not a victim. So I had to let go of the unforgiveness. So I just started practicing it in my mind. I mean, it's as silly as it sounds, as easy as it sounds. I was just like, I just closed my eyes and I said to these people, person A through Z, there were a lot of them. I was like, I had to go through one at a time and like really like get detailed and like say like, okay, I don't actually forgive you, but what would that look like? That's kind of where I had to start because I was such an angry person. And that practice was super helpful. I felt a lot lighter. And I literally like didn't even have to do this long meditation. I just closed my eyes and I was like, okay, what does it look like if I forgive you? Well, here's what it could look like. I could hug you. I could, cry with you. I could see you as a person and maybe let go of some anger in my life. And maybe I'm a little bit lighter. And what does that look like? And what does that feel like? And that from there, I think then I started to get really excited because after that, I noticed I was way less burdened with like anger. And I would just, I'd always like, people are like, oh, how'd you get into trucking? And I'd tell this huge story about how people wronged me and like, I was not happy and why I'm angry. And I started to tell a different story when I started to practice a different way of being, a different thought.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? So it's not just the practice. So it is you that starting to notice. You bring more awareness to your own thoughts, right? You now catching yourself like, ooh, okay, I'm doing less of that anger, the victim mentality, but and now I'm doing more of other things like shifting the thinking and the story that that you keep telling yourself that I'm so and so would do this to me, and this is why I'm here, to something else like I'm here because I want to do something different, right? So yeah. So it changes you, right? It changes your thoughts first, and then your thoughts create actions. That's what the theory is all about, right? Then you're starting to rewire your stories, your beliefs in your head. And when we're starting to work in, we call it, I'm going to use this word, the inner work. When we're starting to do the inner work, and then the outside world starting to change for us, right? Things starting to shift into the way we kind of hope that it will be, or even better than what we could hope for sometimes. Is that accurate?
No, that's exactly it. Yeah. It's like I think meditation for me, I mean, part of it that was super successful and what I really enjoyed was the perspective change. I've always heard that dumb quote. I mean, I thought it was dumb. It was like, it was like, if you change your, what is that quote? It's something about like changing your attitude on something, or like I can't control the things around you, or 90%, that's what it is. Like 10% of life that happens to you is like the things that happen to you, but 90% is your attitude towards it. And like, I don't know, for me, like as a victim, as an angry person, I'd be like, it's like 100% of what people do to me. And I realize, now through meditation, I do have an active choice. Like I can't control things. And I think that was my problem was, I was angry and I wanted to control things. But like what I realized is I can control my own attitude. I can control if I get upset over something. I can control my peace and the way I feel about something, which is literally everything in your life. If you can see that you have a choice over how you respond to life, then your whole world changes. And I felt like that wasn't achievable for me without meditation.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's really, really, I mean, now that you talk about it, it's so obvious, right? That you could be the creator of your own life versus, I'm going to give an example of losing weight just because a lot of people have been on this weight loss journey for a long time, and they'll hit the dip, and then, and then they'll be like, it's so hard to lose weight, right? And then you ask them, so what did you eat? And, the honest answer would be like, maybe they eat something really healthy, but yet there's something inside or deeper than just eating food, like, for example, hormonal. With some of us women will be challenging by our hormones system and causing us to not be able to lose weight so easily. And then we go into this cycle of like, I do everything, I exercise, I eat healthy, I fast, and I'm still not losing weight. Why? And then have you look into that part? Or maybe they don't even bring the awareness to that part of the hormonal, right? So again, you can do something about your hormone too, right? I mean, you can see, holistic healer or practitioner. You can go see your doctor, right? If you want to, your OBGYN maybe can suggest you something about the hormone. Do we really, I mean, when we complain about not being able to lose weight, have we explored all the options possible, right? You think you've done, usually you hear people say, I've done everything and I still can't lose weight. No, you haven't really done everything. So sometimes you have to challenge yourself and starting to ask yourself some questions like that, right? Have you really, really done everything? And is when you bring the awareness to yourself and ask that question, check in with yourself, right? And not everybody have that awareness. So
yeah, I really like what you're saying about that. Like, I think something that's overlooked in meditation is that when you get into these different like states of being, your body is like the perfect pharmaceutical company inside of you. I'm not downing like people's medications or supplements or whatever people want to do to help them, but your body is capable of giving you the exact correct hormones to balance out, or the exact like chemicals within your body to balance like anxiety, or it can balance like the weight gain and the weight loss. Like, it's already perfect inside of us but we do need balancing. And it's really incredible how meditation can do that too for us.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been overlooked for so long. I know a lot of people need some evidence, some proof by the science, right? That how meditation could benefit you in which way, and a lot of people still don't believe it, still don't understand it. So therefore they're not taking advantage of this practice, which is so simple and accessible to everybody, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, so we're just trying to get you to meditate here. And that's why we're talking all about the meditation. And now it goes hand in hand. The mindfulness practice is the awareness of your thoughts, your feelings, and everything that you do in your life. So if you could recommend someone something simple to do, to incorporate in their daily life, what would that be? One or two things that you do?
So,
put you on the spot.
oh, that's fine. Yeah. So you're asking if there is something I can recommend, like one or two things to add into someone's daily life, what would it be? I would definitely like just if you want to start somewhere and meditation does interest you, try just setting a timer with like on your phone, like a countdown timer for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Like do something every day and maybe like increase it, like start out small and just go back to your breath. There's so many things though that like people can do daily.
There really are so many things that are so simple that you can do every day.
Yeah.
So
Gratitude.
You said, oh, yeah, gratitude is a great one.
Yeah.
Just because earlier we talked about how you are not a meditator at all. You were just like, what's this? I only go to yoga class so I can build some muscles and strength, right? Not here for the meditation. So that's why I had to ask this question of, from a non-meditator or non-conscious of meditating, because yoga is meditation, right? You just do it in a moving form of it. So that's why I have to ask, what is the simple way for someone who's not considered themselves a meditator to be adopting this idea of even, mindfulness, some form of mindfulness and meditation into their life. And because the name of the show is 1 Mindful Minute. So what can we do in this 1 mindful minute?
That's a great question. For me, meditation is anything that like makes that time and space feel as if they can go on forever. And for me, like, I don't know if anyone can relate, but like crafting or like coloring or painting or just doing something kind of fun, like something that makes you feel like, wow, time passed by really fast. Like I'm having a lot of fun with this. Start there. Like if you can pick up like, I don't know, I took a stained glass art class. For me, that was really incredible, kind of a little bit more involved, but I also really enjoy coloring with my nephew. Like he's always busting out the markers and the papers. So like, just doing something kind of different that like makes you feel like time and space doesn't exist and you could do it forever. I'd say start there. And like yoga is really cool because you don't have to look at the time. Like the teacher does it for you. Like, I love that. For anybody who is like, I have to be doing something, I have to like it's a great way to shut off your brain and to just get into like a movement space to, give yourself that freedom within that hour or 45-minute class that you do to not think about time and to not think about what you need to do next. You're just there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an easy way to get your meditation in when you go to a yoga class. It doesn't matter what kind of yoga. It's, you're still doing the practice. So, yeah, I love yoga class.
It's really good.
I'm promoting yoga classes. Doesn't matter what kind. Just go give it a try. Especially in our life that it's so busy and we always find a way to stress ourselves out. So going to, even restorative yoga or yin yoga is so rejuvenating.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I could just go and just get lost in the poses and in the music that the teacher provide. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? Like, I come out and I was like, oh, my voice changed. And, like, I'm so relaxed. I'm like, this can't be over just quite yet. Are you sure? Yeah, I love doing that. Some simple stuff. And then you just, and you get to practice in a group setting where everyone come in with this, ready mindset of like, they're going to be there. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to relax in the same space with the same music, with the same pose, with the same teacher, same guy. So it's like we all hold space for each other in the yoga class, right? I mean, I think that's a good place to start practicing meditation and mindfulness. Just going to yoga class in your local studio area, neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, and I want to go now.
I do too.
So tell me a little bit more. What are you up to right now? And are you okay if people want to go check you out on your social media? Are you using social media right now to share your journey?
Yeah. So I do have an Instagram if you're interested, but like for me, my life is just my life and I kind of blend everything together. So I'm a very open and vulnerable person, but like that's my goal, is to just be authentically me. And I'd love it if anyone was interested in following my Instagram. My handle is my name, Vicki Karry, and it's VICKIKARRY.
Awesome. Are you active on Instagram?
Yes, I am pretty active on Instagram. It's just my life. I don't have like a business account, but I do work too as well. I found these it's so funny you talk about weight loss, because I started off with weight loss on my mind last year when I started meditating too. I was just not feeling good in my own skin. So I've made a conscious decision that I'm going to start thinking positively about my body. And I started to say ahead of the time, I love my body. I feel so good in my skin. I'm so beautiful. I love the way health feels on me. I love the way, I just love everything about my body. So that's kind of where it started, was positive thoughts, which led me to become more active, which led me to become a little bit more healthy with my eating choices, which led me to some supplements. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just offering my whole life on my Instagram. But yeah, I'm kind of active. Yeah.
So ever since I saw you from day one that we met last year, over a year ago now, to today, your skin have changed. You have this glowy looking skin. And I think I took a little peek of your before and after picture on Instagram that you posted.
Yeah.
That is so daring. You are so brave to put yourself out there. I really admire you for doing that. I want to be able to do that, but I was just not there yet. Not quite there yet. So
it's for everyone. I recognize that. And yeah, thanks for checking that out. I remember not feeling good last year. But ironically, I was practicing feeling really good. I would feel the emotions ahead of the event that I wanted to happen in my life. And, I wanted to feel empowered. I wanted to feel vitality. I wanted to feel health. I wanted to feel sexy. So now I thank you for noticing. I don't wear makeup. I don't have filters on my camera anymore. I used to be mortified without a filter on my camera. And people who are turning
challenge with our connection here. So we'll wait a few minutes till Vicki come back. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Oh,
all right. So we lost you for a moment there.
okay. What did you last hear me say?
So I think you might want to start over again. And
Oh, okay. So yeah, no problem. I was just like at this point in my life where I wanted to feel the feelings ahead of the event that I wanted in my life. And I knew I wanted to feel vitality and feel health and feel sexy.
You're cutting out again. Your sound is kind of in and out.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
Still don't have you.
Oh.
There you are. Okay.
Okay.
You're back now.
Okay, so
back.
yeah, I was just saying how I really wanted to feel good and last year I just didn't, and I wanted to feel really, really like sexy, healthy, vitality, youth. And now like it's so amazing how I just started with gratitude. That's literally like where I started, was grateful for my body, grateful for my skin, grateful for my health. And I didn't feel good. And but I would say those things. And it eventually led me to where I am today. It was probably about a year journey, but just in 1 year, I've changed like everything about my life. And I think that could be like a little bit long for some people, but I would not change it. I am truly healthy where I'm at. Like I didn't get any plastic surgery. I didn't do anything to my face, by paying somebody. It was just literally meditation, which led me to a healthier lifestyle, which led me to different opportunities that fell into my lap with like different foods and supplements I wanted to try. So yeah, thanks for seeing my Instagram and saying that I was like courageous or brave. Thank you.
You are super inspiring, and especially seeing you transform. I mean, just because I've seen you over a year ago and seeing you again, even on Zoom, like I can tell your skin's different, your body is different. And I remember you even manifested a trip to Korea, and you spent what, 3 months there, right? Something.
Yeah, about actually half that time. So about a month and a half I was in Korea. Yeah, I kept saying I wanted specifically I wanted a paid one-way trip to Asia. And I remember thinking that and putting that on my vision board and wanting to start what I thought would be maybe a backpacking journey. But I knew I wanted to start an endeavor that I was also manifesting like other things at the same time. Like, what am I going to do now that my 2-year of retirement is coming to a close? Like, what am I going to do for sustainability for my lifestyle? So yeah, the Korea trip led me to just an opportunity with these supplements, which led me back to Chicago area. And I am going to do this like West Coast loop tour, I think, in my van, and just, see friends and hang out with people that I love. I love my life. I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe I get to say that this is me. And I'm so grateful. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
And this is one of the reasons why I had to talk to you and stay in touch with you after I met you in person at the meditation event, right? Is because you said, this is what I want to do. This is what, this is what's happening. And a lot of us are like not so excited about our job, right? And to be able to do what you do and just take some time off of work or taking a sabbatical, some people would say, right? But yeah, I think retirement is a good word to say for 2 years of retirement. It's pretty good for someone at a younger age and still be able to say that they are really happy with what they're doing and they're happy with themselves and they see life differently from, taking this time off, not just to, let's go island hopping. Not that island hopping isn't good, but maybe it's just different, right?
Yeah.
It's depending on what you're looking for, what you're trying to do with that purpose of doing what you're doing, right? So this is why I had to stay in touch with you to live vicariously through your experience of how did you do this and and what's coming next into your life. Like, what are you anticipating to happen in the future?
Well, that's the thing.
That I'm
Yeah, no, I mean,
out of you right now.
So far I just plan on being a badass and continuing like living this life that makes me feel good, makes me feel empowered. And that's really general, right? Like, I think that's the beauty of my life is I am not afraid to change it if it doesn't suit me in that moment or in the next season of my life. But what's coming right now is I'll stay in Chicago for a little bit and then I'll probably like do a loop. And I think for the next 6 months, I'm going to see what happens with my life and these supplements. And I actually really believe in, what I'm doing and it's making me feel really good. So I want to see what happens with that. And I think what's to come is, I think what you can expect more from me is continuing meditating because I don't want to get out of that practice. I love it so much. Even if I don't need to necessarily like create anything different, but honestly, like once you reach a goal, all I want to do is like set a new goal. It's not even a goal. It's like a dream, like, or a vision. Like naturally, I think we want to hunger for the next thing. Once we have a satisfied dream within us. So I think what's next is there's no limit, Fawn. There's no limit. I definitely want to write. I feel like I have like this wisdom like bubbling within me from like my ancestors and expressed in this lifetime. I want to write my story. You could probably expect a memoir from me later. I'm not a writer and I'm not a reader, but we're just going to see what happens because my dream is just to inspire people to be the happiest version of themselves or whatever it is that they want. So I want to write my story. I want to encourage people that even if you experienced a different upbringing, that you can change at any time. And, I wasn't dealt maybe the best hand, or I've had some really unusual experiences, coming from like, a certain way of life and my college into formulating my own opinions and where I'm at today. But I think that's just like always my main goal that I'm going to strive for is just to inspire people and to be an inspiration and to empower and be empowered.
You've been inspiring me to definitely put in the work. And I know at one point you shared with me when you were in Korea, we had we had a quick Zoom call. It wasn't that quick. It was an hour or so or two maybe.
Yeah.
We were just chatting about how you have made meditation your full-time practice.
Yes. I did that for like a long time.
Yeah.
That was part of my healing year that I had in the second half of 2022 until, well, like almost all of 2022 until like even now. I started meditating that 1 hour that I set that goal, turned into 2 hours because I started doing it twice a day. And then I was like, I wonder if I could just do like, 2 hours back to back and then do it in the third. So I started meditating 3 hours. Then it turned into 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, on average for a better part of the year, I was meditating between 3 to 6 hours. Sometimes it was more, sometimes it was less, but it was a lot. And it became easy for me and beautiful visions of, it's like your body doesn't know the difference between a thought and something happening to you in this reality. So if someone like, hands me, I don't know, something like upsetting or does something upsetting to me, or I just replay that upsetting thing that happens, my body doesn't know the difference. And it's like gonna go into this survival. So during those hours of meditation, I would just feel these incredible things like such as flying or, I know that's not real. I know I'm not flying, but I felt it. And it felt really like it felt so free. And I experienced levels of freedom I had no idea I could, or just visions of me speaking on a stage that felt really inspiring and super satisfying to me. And I know that these were, I don't know, it was kind of like, was I causing them or were they like inspired thoughts? But whatever it was, I know my body was experiencing it. And it felt so incredible, whether it happened in real life or happened in my mind, same thing. It was amazing to dedicate that much time to my self-discovery, my healing, my journey, and changing my reality.
It's really amazing that you would share this piece, because actually a really well-known coach, if you would call him that, he passed away now. He has said what he learned from his coach is that there's nothing new or created. Everything is already exists. It's either in your mind or not in your mind. That's it. And if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. That's what he said, right? So you have the power to create your life, like how we were just talking about it earlier on this call, right? You said you have the power. You can create, you can co-create, or you can create your life, your own life. You have the choices, right? You don't have to be the victim. And this is coming to the end of our interview here, and we are literally circling back to where we started, right? Which is this valuable piece of experience and advice that you can share with the rest of the world, whoever stumbled upon this piece of episode, this piece of conversation between two friends here. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing this with all of us. And I know I've been having this vision of, having you talking about your experience and how we can share this for the longest time. I just didn't know how it's going to come about. And I don't want this to be like, edited in any way, because I want to keep things real. I want everybody that, that listen to this conversation to be a part of our journey and maybe be inspired. Maybe they learn something from this conversation and maybe feel like they can be a part of this conversation, like they're sitting here with us too. We're talking to each other, just catching up with, life and our progress in our, from our practices, right? So it's always good to chat with you and to see what you're up to and to see your glowing skin from this new endeavor that you have taken on. So I'm excited to see what else might be unfolding for you, and maybe we'll have to do another call with you within, let's say, 6 months, because you said 6 months earlier. So I'm going to use that as a mark to just, let's do this again in 6 months to see what's going to be showing up in your life and what are you bringing into the life of Vicki.
I would love that, Fawn. And thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here and just to be sharing my experiences with you. And, to have somebody well receive that, I couldn't ask for more. Thank you for this opportunity. I would love that. Like, let's do it again. I had so much fun talking with you.
Of course. We will do this again in 6 months for sure. It's just to see what's going on and what's new. And of course, you and I, we will be talking to each other before 6 months for sure. So thank you for being willing to share your experience and be vulnerable. And we'll talk again soon. Thank you, Vicki.
Thanks, Fawn.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember, this journey is ongoing. Be sure to share this podcast with others, because together we can create a ripple effect of positivity that goes far beyond this podcast. To reach out to me, the best way is on LinkedIn. DM me at Fawn Charette. Until the next time, take a minute each day, put the phone aside, breathe, and embrace the beauty of each moment.